Welcome back to the Bluegrass family. I am so happy that you all are here with us. I'm so happy that you all are following along and just getting something from these videos that we've been sharing. I had a friend reach out to me and give me some encouragement about making the videos, and it honestly meant so much to me, and it reminded me to remind you all that it is so easy to just give a phone call, go visit a friend, and share a piece of encouragement with them. It could mean the absolute world to them, and it could influence them and change their day or change even the direction of their life. So no act of kindness is too small. Our baby meat chickens came in the mail this past week, and so I was the one to go pick them up from the post office, and the kids were with me this day, and they absolutely loved bringing the baby chicks home and getting them set out in the chicken tractors. We will raise these meat chickens from their newborn stage now all the way up until they're 8 weeks old, and then we will process them and we will prep them and freeze them, and that will be our chicken for the rest of the year. And we've done this for several years now, and so we are actually raising our own chicken here on our farm. Dave has been working really hard to try to set up some swarm traps so that he can catch some hives. He's not been successful up to this point, but we're hoping that he can catch us a swarm very soon so that we can start getting our own honey. It is nearing the end of the school year for my kids, and so we are going to tie-dye some shirts this afternoon and just make some end of the year shirts for them. They have had this tie-dye kit for a while, but we haven't had a chance to actually get to use it, and so we spent the afternoon just enjoying the sunshine and getting outside and doing a fun craft that I think all kids absolutely love. This kit was not very expensive. I think I picked it up at Walmart, and I got the t-shirts there as well, so if it's something that you all want to try with your kids, I'm sure they would love it. They all decided on a swirl design for their t-shirts, so I twisted each t-shirt at the center pretty tightly as I could, and then took the rubber bands that came with the kit and wrapped them around the t-shirts to hold them in place. So the kit actually came with the gloves, and then it came with the dye and the rubber bands. So all of that was included, which I was really happy. I didn't have to go out of my way to purchase that stuff, and it was all already there ready for us. So all you do is add a little bit of water to the bottles that have the dye in them, and then just let the kids design their own shirts. After they were finished putting all of the dye on the shirts, I put them in Ziploc bags and just let them sit overnight. And then the following day, I washed them in cold water and just hung them out on the clothesline. This is a pretty messy activity, and so what I decided to do was go get an old drop cloth that we had in the basement and just lay that over top of our picnic table outside, and I just let the kids do it and cleaned it up afterwards, so it wasn't too bad. We are entering the spring and summer months, and so I feel like this time of year I try to find some dessert recipes that are light and fluffy and just they're not too heavy on your stomach, and they're good to have on hand. I like to make things like this that I can keep in my refrigerator for a few days. That way everyone can just kind of eat on it whenever they're wanting a snack. And so I decided to make a from scratch banana pudding using the raw milk that I had just got from a local farm. And so I made the homemade whipped cream topping, and then I also made the homemade pudding to go into the banana pudding. And so I'm going to show you all exactly how I made it. I wanted to hold up the jar and just show you all the cream line. You can see that the cream has risen to the top of the jar, and so in order to make my homemade whipped cream, I am just skimming off the cream from the top of the milk and putting it into a separate quart-sized mason jar. You can just stir it into your raw milk if you would like to keep it, but I do like to try to make different things with it. Either add it to my coffee or make butter, or like today I'm making homemade whipped cream. So it's really nice to have that nice, rich, creamy cream on the top of that milk. It is so lovely, and we have absolutely just loved having this raw milk on hand. I've just been using it for all sorts of different recipes. I do like to make a homemade pudding whenever I am making banana pudding. So I just start off with 6 tablespoons of cornstarch, and I think it was 1 1/3 cup of brown sugar. You can use brown sugar or granulated sugar. I had brown sugar on hand, so that is what I opted for. And then just a pinch of salt, and then I used 4 cups of our raw milk that we had, and I put it over medium heat. You don't want it to come to a boil, you just want to heat it up until it begins to start and thicken. And at that point, you can take it off of the burner and allow it to sit and cool. It is going to continue to thicken as it cools, but homemade pudding is super simple. Also, after you take the pot off of the burner, you want to add in some vanilla extract. I added in about a teaspoon to teaspoon and a half of vanilla extract, and then 2 tablespoons of butter. I had salted butter on hand, so that's what I used. The recipe calls for unsalted butter, but to me it really didn't make that much of a difference. You can choose to put your banana pudding in a clear bowl or in a baking dish, or you can put it in pretty much whatever container that you'd like. I did choose to put it in a clear bowl just so that you could kind of see the layers, because what you're going to do is layer vanilla wafers on the bottom, and then you're going to layer in your bananas and then pour your pudding over that, and then repeat the layer, and then you're going to top it all off with your homemade whipped topping, and then crunch up the rest of your vanilla wafers and add that on top. So I think I used about 4 bananas, and you want to make sure they're not overly ripe. A couple of mine were a little bit ripe, but not to the point of turning brown. So because you're going to be making this and letting it sit in the fridge, you don't want kind of slimy older bananas, if that makes sense. So you want to use kind of a fresher banana. Like I said, you're going to layer it in, and it is really nice whenever you have a clear glass bowl to be able to see through it. I think it just, I don't know, it adds a little bit of a pretty element to it if you're taking it somewhere or you want to put it on display. We are moving on to the homemade whipped topping. This is so simple. If you do not have fresh cream or you don't have raw milk, you can just purchase some heavy whipping cream from the store. So it is only a 1/4 cup of confectioner sugar, and then 4 cups of, or sorry, not 4 cups, 1 cup of heavy cream. So you add that into your mixer and you turn it slowly, and then just kind of let the sugar and the cream mix together. And then as it begins to combine, you can turn it up a little bit more, and then your cream will start to turn into this nice fluffy whipped topping. So like I said, it's 2 ingredients. It's super simple, and if you don't have the cream from raw milk, you can just use heavy whipping cream. Once your whipped cream is starting to form stiff peaks, then you know that it's ready, and you can take it out and taste it and see if you need to add any more sugar, and then it's ready to put on top of your banana pudding. Now you want to crush up whatever vanilla wafers that you have left, enough to cover the top of the banana pudding. You just crush them up and sprinkle them on top, and then if you want to store it, you can wrap the top with plastic wrap and put it in your refrigerator. I do think it tastes better after a few hours once it's had time to chill, and I usually try to let it go overnight, and it is so delicious.
I love you.
Thank you all for following along. Let me know if you make this banana pudding, and if you have a recipe, please share that with us below. I hope that you all like and subscribe and follow along with us, and we will share many more videos about our backyard farm and from scratch recipes.